Okay, so let me tell you who I really am now. I'm from a small town called Inman, Kansas, and if you have your device, if you're on your device while I'm talking, I don't care. Because I'm in charge, this is my classroom, and I'm going to set the culture. And once I set the culture and you know the expectation, I don't have to get mad at you anymore. There's always a kid who has the device out. Are they doing the right thing? Who knows? There's kids who brought Playboys to school. We didn't close the building. We talked to the kid who had the problem, right? So if you've got your device out and you're Googling me, good for you. Check your sources, students, even if they're made out of meat. Just because I'm standing here doesn't mean I'm worth listening to. Raise your hand if you Googled me. Good. Good, do that. Now, I'm the kind of student that I'm in the front row with my laptop open and I'm not checking email. I'm Googling. I'm going deeper than you asked me to because that's how I learn. If I don't interact with what you say, I forget it. I'm renting it with an option to buy. The truth is, I have to do something with what you say and then I'll own it. So I'm not looking to distract myself, but not every student is like that. So you have to know me. And I get teachers who get mad about the devices. I had a lady yell at me. I become the lightning rod of their fear of change. I don't know how it happens. I hate those Chromebooks, said the teacher. I said, why? I don't know what the kids in the back row are doing. I said, get up. Walk around. Kids pass paper notes. We didn't ban paper, right? Or use Google Docs so you can see all the kids at the same time. I love Google Docs because I'm the air traffic controller of literacy. I can see every plane in the air right from my desk, you know? So I use tools. I'm not good at it, and I don't do any of it right or correct, you know? Perfect is the enemy of done. I just start. I'm MacGyver, you know? And the purists don't like me because I don't do it by the letter. I don't care. I use it the way it works where I'm from. And I guess that's kind of the Midwest mentality, right? If it works, I'll use it. I love that practicality, you know? You go some places, and they're so smart and so perfect that they're 10 years behind. You know, I love the Midwest because we're more practical than that. So, you know, I'm from Inman, Kansas, and I'll show you I'm on the school board. I'm a third-term school board member. Don't judge me. But if you're going to talk about this stuff, you should be doing this stuff. So, you know, we're one-to-one iPads 9 through 12, and that was a big deal because 4 years ago we were one-to-one nothing. We just weren't ready. We didn't know what we wanted to use. And we spent some time and we gave devices to teachers and let them play and we let them choose. We let them choose what they wanted to do. And we kind of changed our approach. We let them pick. And we have knocked it out of the park because we let the teachers lead. See, because you're going to learn stuff. And then you're going to teach her some stuff and you're going to teach him some stuff if that's the culture. But if we're all supposed to know everything already, then we're not allowed to help each other because we have to admit we don't know things. You know, we have a file cabinet that we lock full of our treasured learning, right? And that was the old days. Our teachers are teaching our teachers, and they're good, you know? We get out of their way and let them go learn, and they figure things out. You need certain things for your students. You need different things because you have a different class. It's okay that you don't do the same thing. I was doing a staff development in upstate New York, and this is how I do it. You're all in my staff development. I take you to a website where there's 1,000 tools, and I say, go explore and look for things you might use with your kids. I'm going to shut up for 2 hours. And I shut up. And the teachers are like, oh my God, is this really happening? They trust us? Because you know what you need. I don't know what you need. What kind of arrogance is that you listen to one guy talk all day that doesn't even know what you teach? So they're having a great time. Superintendent comes in and yells at me. What are you doing? Oh, I'm giving them time to learn. They're not on task, he says, about the teachers. They're not on task. I said, what do you mean? They're all doing different things. I said, they all teach different things. He hates me, this guy. He believes that one expert should come and talk to you all day, whether or not he knows what you do. And this happens, you know? They bring that one guy in. How many of you ever sat through a whole day of staff development and didn't get one thing you could use? Raise your hand. This is the problem. And this is why some of you came in early to make sure you could sit in the back. I'm wearing deodorant. I showered. I'm worth being here for. But you don't know that, so you're reserving the right to be disinterested. I understand. It's my job to pull you forward. And in classes, there's research on where you sit, by the way. I don't know if you guys know this, but you people who sit up here, research calls you policymakers. You know why you're here. There's a name for the people who sat in the back on purpose. Research calls you bystanders. Don't bother me and I won't bother you. I'll take my C. I won't set the classroom on fire. Now, this has been true for a very long time. This is the custodial arrangement of teaching. And we've had this for a long time. We understand custodial arrangement of teaching means it was designed so custodians could get brooms between the chairs. But it wasn't designed for optimal learning. It's an accident of architecture, and we're still doing it. And it freaks me out. So I look at the back row and I say, how do I give those kids a front row seat? And if I can't use this to do that, we're wasting a lot of money. So before you choose your devices, good grief, don't buy laptops, Chromebooks, iPads, and put worksheets on them. Why would you? It's an evolutionary step sideways. Why would you buy a Ferrari and go 5 miles an hour? I walked in a teacher's classroom the other day. She had a Promethean board, the Cadillac of smart boards, and she had posters taped to it. You ever have a moment when you don't even know what to say? You're just like, oh my God. Did you miss a workshop, sweetie? You got a smart board. That's like a windshield to everything. You could be doing Google Hangouts with NASA. You could be rocking your kids' world by doing collaborative projects with kids in New Guinea, and you're using it as a chalkboard with posters? Good grief. And I know there's stuff we don't know. They have a staff development. You're supposed to learn things, but they go too fast. They don't give you time to do it. And then you get the next day you try and you can't, and you're not going to do that in front of kids. I understand. But I'm connected to lots of teachers worldwide. I build my own little staff development in my pocket. I'm on Twitter, connected to 48,000 other teachers worldwide. You're welcome. And that's not a popularity contest. I need help. You probably have all the resources you need. I feel you. I don't. Kansas, we're having a hard time with money right now. You've probably got lots of money in Wisconsin. We have a governor who's cutting education and talking bad about teachers and saying awful things and taking away our rights and breaking up our unions. You probably haven't experienced any of that either. Here's the problem. We're dying of humble. While you're busy doing great things, other people are telling your story for you and they're getting it wrong. We can no longer be secret geniuses, guys and girls. I know you're humble. I love you for it. But we have to live out loud. We have to share what we do. And if you don't want to brag about you, why wouldn't you brag about your kids? So yes, I'm on Twitter telling the good news of great learning in Inman schools. Why? I love Inman schools. And you can die while being great if no one knows you're there. So yes, we're leveraging social media. You think Mayberry wants to do that? It's a survival thing. We have to tell our story better than the politicians. How many of you think we have better stories than the politicians? Raise your hand. Keep your hand up if I can easily find them online. What the heck? So I can't brag about you because, you know what I mean? This is the thing. Are we global or are we snow global? That's my problem, guys. I think we're snow global. And so no one knows what's going on inside here. And the kids have to work in a global world. We have to break the glass. And right now, when kids get a glass cutter and try to break the glass, we give them a detention. We have got to knock down these walls. I want your kids collaborating with kids that I know in Australia. They can't wait for you to answer the phone. Build something together. Build something the way Boeing makes an airplane. Let them rehearse 21st century skills. It's not rocket science. Let them talk to each other. Figure things out. Solve a problem, a world problem. Will you know how to do this? No, you won't, but you just got permission to do something creative. Use it, right? At the top of revised Bloom's taxonomy is the word create. We have permission, right? And what Bloom's is saying is that when a kid can take what you taught them and create something from it, they own it. But until then, they're renting it, right? So how do we let them create? I spent most of my career trying to figure that out, right? I'm the art teacher. Raise your hand, art teachers. I picked art on purpose. Rock on, art teachers. You know why I picked art? No one bothers the art teacher. Because they don't understand us, man. They're a little bit afraid of us, and that's cool. I picked it because I knew no one would bother me. I could do brain surgery, and no one would come in my classroom, you know? The superintendent, he said, Kevin, do whatever you want. You're the artiste. Artiste? I said, why do you have to sabotage the name of my career? Principal. I picked art because in my room, there's 100 ways I can let you be amazing. I knew I could do that, right? That's why I picked that. And in those days, it was so hard because the history teacher had a curriculum, a straitjacket, basically, and so did the math teacher, you know what I mean? But we're living in different times now. There's a lot of ways to let kids learn. In fact, you're all becoming the art teacher because of all these tools. So rather than be afraid, don't be afraid, just do it. Because I want a role model for kids that humans have to keep learning. Well, he's going to be digital, but not too soon, right? I want him to have success, happiness, and he can go after his dreams. I want him to hunt with this stuff, not just play with it. Here's the problem. When kids get the devices before us, they turn it into recess. Try to get that back once they've done that, right? So I want you to have it first. When we brought iPads to our school, teachers had them for a full year before the kids had them. We gave them a head start, right? And teachers had questions like, can I print with this? We said no. The truth is you could, but we just said no. Because guess what? You don't have to. We could save a ton of money. Why are we killing trees? I can hand in my homework from the iPad straight to your iPad without printing it off. But we're from a generation where we're comfortable once it's made out of paper. I understand. Right? We're an Apple Distinguished program 3 years in a row, and we're Mayberry. 4 years ago, we had nothing. You can get there fast once you know why. Why, right? We talk about what, we talk about how. Forget that. Why? Why would I use this? Ask yourself these questions. Would it engage kids? Is it getting them ready for their future? Are they going to spend the rest of their lives in the future? Then yeah, there's my why. See, I didn't want to do any of this. I was really good analog teacher. I'm not bragging, but I work hard. I had to do everything. I was the one-man art department in my town. When we broke into curriculum meetings, I met with myself. For 13 years, I met with myself. We didn't agree on everything. I was a detached retina in education. I was lonely, you know. I had no connections. There were no networks back then. It was just me, and it was really hard. And I started bringing devices into my classroom because I saw the world was using these devices. I was teaching darkroom photography, which I love, but then I started calling the newspapers to see how many had a darkroom. And even in central Kansas, none of them had a darkroom anymore. They were all using Photoshop, which I didn't even have. So I started thinking, oh, well, I'm not doing that. So for a year, I didn't do that. I started thinking, I think I'm shoplifting from kids. I'm taking a paycheck, but I'm not getting them ready for the future. I'm doing what's easy for me. I did that. I'll own that. And then I got Photoshop. Now, guys, have you read the manual for Photoshop? How thick is that? It's thicker than the freaking Bible. How can God get his word unto his people in fewer words than Adobe needs, you know? And I'm from the old school. I read the manual. I'm at the school reading the manual at 1 in the morning because they're coming in tomorrow. And my wife calls from 2 blocks away. She says, you like being married? I said, up till now I did. She said, get home. I said, you don't understand. I have to get home. I have to learn this, but get home. She has a certain way of saying get home that makes my butt tingle. I went home and I didn't learn it that night. And the next day, the janitor let the kids into my room before I got there. And they were surrounding the software like it was a crashed UFO. And I said, kids, I don't know how to work that. They said, Honeycutt, we know you're old. We got your back. And they made a tutorial for me. I know, right? And finally, I just relaxed. I said, good grief, what was I doing? I was trying to teach technology. I don't teach the pencil. I teach art, right? I only had one computer anyway, so I had an egg timer. When it went ding, the kids got up and moved over one seat, so they all got a little bit of computer time, and they taught each other. And I went back to my life. I became a tradigital teacher. Traditional and digital, you know? And I got yelled at by some people. Why are you doing all this new stuff, Kevin? Cut it out or we're all going to have to do it. I was told that. I said, I won't say his name, Russ Gehring, 585-6414. Jerk. I said, Russ, is it our job to make it easy for us, or is it our job to get them ready for the future? And I was attacked a lot. The more I did with this, the more I got attacked. Because, I don't know, people were afraid of it, and I became the poster boy. I didn't mean to. I love my kids. It wasn't easy. It wasn't easy. And I didn't do PR. I should have told them why I was doing what I was doing, but I didn't have time. I didn't think I did, right? But we didn't have cameras on everything back then either. So I'd start a program, and I would be attacked for it. And I got used to that. Most good school innovation dies of domestic violence, right? We see that. You're doing some amazing thing. People make assumptions. I will not make assumptions about you. I know you. You love kids. If you're doing something, there's a reason. We'll talk about it later, but I will not talk you down in the faculty lounge. I will not do that. See, that happens sometimes. It's like we're a bunch of specialists who share a common parking lot, but not a common vision, right? The way you use technology won't be like me, but you'll find your own way, right? And I'll do it this other way, and we won't judge each other. It's okay. You know what I mean? You won't use it for every lesson. Don't replace your good lessons with technology. if you're going to do technology with something, pick a lesson you hate teaching anyway. Why wouldn't you replace that one? You hate that one, right? The ones you're good at, keep doing those. You rock at those. That history teacher that hooked my son didn't use anything digital. He loved his job, and it rubbed off on my child, right? But I also want him to know how to use devices too. Because with a device, what can you do with history and a device? It's like bionic, right? You can take history to that next level. So I go to schools all the time where they're 10 years behind. They don't know they're 10 years behind because they had good test scores. They made AYP, right? And they built a snow globe around themselves, right? They weren't global, they're snow global. And it's really hard to help them because they think they're already perfect, and that's really, I don't know what to do, How do I fix that? So when I come to a school that's open-minded and realizes that I can do anything with you. I love that. I absolutely love that, And again, you don't have to replace everything, one lesson. And this is the perfect time of year, right, to try one thing, Just one little thing. Don't do all of it. You'll die if you try. Just pick one little thing and take yourself outside your comfort zone. Because the research is saying to us that our kids, the ones in your classrooms, are going to have between 10 and 14 careers in their lifetimes. They won't be like us. And they're going to have to relearn every single time, and they can't hate that. So we can't role model that we hate change. Not in front of them. Don't do that. I know it bothers you when something changes. You ever go to a website and they've moved something? Where's that button? It was there yesterday. Where is it? Oh, it's over there. I hate Google. The kids see the meltdown, man, right? So raise your hand if this is true. If you lost your cell phone or your laptop, you would lose important information. Raise your hand if that's true. Raise your hand if it made you nervous to think about it. What have you done? What have you done? You have outsourced the warehousing of data to a peripheral device. You have, in effect, created for yourself digital limbs. What if I amputated yours? You ever lose your phone for a second and go, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God? I love my wife, but I don't know her phone number. I don't know her number. I click wife and it calls her. I don't know her number. Humans don't do that anymore. We don't warehouse that stuff. And by the way, if you think that's bad, I don't agree. Because the research I've done says the human brain doesn't waste real estate. If you don't use it for this, the brain will use it for something else. Ever have a kid with lazy eye? They don't patch the eye. The brain shuts that off and does something else with the neocortex, right? So all that warehousing, now there's extra space, and I think we can use it for other things, like invention, creation, creativity, learning. I'm not afraid of that. Some people, they get afraid of things. How many of you have a GPS? How many of you like your GPS? How many of you love your GPS? I love my GPS. You know why? I'm directionally blind, and it's not going to change. I've tried my whole career. By the way, I'm also colorblind, and I taught art for 13 years. Rock on. I don't know I can't see, So the GPS, it doesn't judge me. You miss your turn, she's still cool. Recalculating. I like it when she talks English, you know what I mean? It seems like I got my little girlfriend in the car, You pull up to your location, you feel like a rock star, arriving at destination on right. My wife has caught on that I have an unnatural affection for this device. And she says mean things about her. She thinks she knows everything. I said, she kind of does. Why don't you marry it? I kind of might. Don't make me arrive at that destination. I love it. And you can judge me, and there's people who try to fix me. People try to fix you. No, it's really easy. You just go down there and you go east. You go east for a while and then you go, don't try to fix me. It's like talking to a blind person. Just see. Just see. I can't. Stop judging me. This new tool happened and I can use it and I can get on with my life. But we do this thing in school. We assess kids. We assess their skills and their abilities. And every year we give them that long list of things they can't do. How does that feel? Where's the equally long list of things they can do? Let me give you, for instance. I'm not a good writer, but I'm a good talker. Talking is writing with your mouth, if you say it is. I have Dragon dictation on my iPad. I have a book on Amazon that's about my childhood and what I learned from all of that hell. It's called Midnight Run, and it's for sale, and it's selling like hotcakes. I wrote that book with my mouth. I just talked to the book. I told the stories, and it wrote itself. I spell checked. It's worth reading, right? I have a book. Some people aren't going to like this if you make an exception. I'm in your class, and I'm not getting it, dude, and I'm trying, but if you knew what was going on at my house, I'm emotionally compromised. The front door of my learning is burned down. If you let me come in the window, I'll be your best fan. I swear to God, I'll lube your car, whatever you want. Have you noticed that when you see a kid and you value them for what they are, they'll do anything for you? Have you seen this? I love that about kids. So you let me talk my book, and you're going to take a beating. People are going to get mad. That's cheating. That's just some cheating right there. Because we're so fair, it's unfair how fair we are. Every kid does it the same way. Guys, is a wheelchair ramp cheating? Kids learn different ways, and we have new tools. We have new spices. We don't have to make meatloaf anymore, right? So what are we cooking with all of this stuff? I want you to think that way, Think like a MacGyver. Pretend it's a MASH hospital, and we're inventing new surgery because we have new tools, right? I love the art teacher and the fine arts teachers because they usually grab this stuff and just go. Just like Da Vinci, used eggshell tempera in a time when that was controversial, Because artists just grab stuff and paint with it. They don't ask for permission. I love that. I want us all to be kind of like that. Did I give up drawing with pencil? No. My kids can draw with pencil. They can draw with stylus. They could work at GM, or they could be a fine artist, right? They can do Photoshop. They can do Illustrator. By the end of your time with me, you're going to be Tradigital, and your portfolio is going to be online. And you're going to email that to every college you like. And in about 5 minutes, you're going to get a reply with a scholarship. That happened. We started doing video walk-bys of their portfolio. Hi, this is one of the first pictures I did. You can see it's pointillism. I was emulating Seurat. These are little drops, little points of paint. Look at it closer. Come over here really close. You can see that I really built things up. It's almost impasto. Now, that's just for the art teachers. You're welcome, okay? Now, there's a passionate kid talking about his love for his art. The professor sees that, compared to the other kids who all just applied online. Is that anything? I did that because I love my kids. But it was controversial at the time,